Hey there, so today we have another review. This is an interesting one. I've only done this once before, doing Frank Pepe's white clam pie slice pizza, which is one of the most famous pizzas in America. But this is an interesting one. I didn't really review any food for you guys like in person. So I brought this home and I was like, all right, well, share something with the channel. If you guys are interested, I got some bagels too. Some bagels too. So this is from Second Avenue Deli. Crazy enough, I've actually never been. So if you don't know, Second Avenue is definitely top three. Like number one has to be Katz, like in fame and known factor. But I was at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and this is actually walking distance from there, so somewhat. I was a long time. Otherwise, I went to Katz. Also, I got to try this for the first time. So, if you don't know, this is a hot pastrami sandwich. Yeah, let's take a good look at it before I like shove my face into this guy. So, just very plain, simple rye bread, thinly sliced. On their slicer, which is very different from Katz's. And then you have to go mustard. That's the only way to eat this guy. Obviously, I had the other half before, and I saved it for the on the flight back, and didn't get a chance to eat it. So, and also I couldn't eat it. Like, you can't eat this with mustard, right? And then you can't save it with the mustard on there. So let's take this guy. This is how you eat this guy. Yeah, cool. Let's take a shot. Yeah, it looks pretty good. A little bit of like crust on the back, on the end, and then very like weird kind of balance, on its I'm just like talking well. It's like very middle heavy, and then the ends are like not much, but this is the best bite, obviously, right? So very tender. How thinly it's cut, it sort of just like shatters and sort of melts in your mouth. Nice salinity to it. And the mustard is obviously huge. Like it's just salt and fat. So you absolutely need something like that. And the mustard is perfect with the rye and the meat, right? So. Yeah. It travels pretty well. I would say it's like something about the temperature. Like I heated it up a bit. Like I had to make it hot. It comes, to you in like a lukewarm kind of temperature, and I have it in that range. But obviously, like the bread had to stale a little bit, and like I flew back, so like yeah, it lasts pretty good. So good, yeah, okay. So what can I say about this? First of all, I just prefer the Katz style. It's like imagine getting brisket, and there's a reason why you hand cut brisket to this thickness. I think it just sort of works better that way. I feel like the thin slice is a little bit of a cheat code. It almost comes off like the texture comes off a little bit like bologna at times, and the flavor like salty, thin, fatty. Versus like Katz, it's like more like barbecue brisket, which is preferred. The other thing is, I don't. It's been a while since like I went to Katz's when I moved, and I haven't been since I moved back and or moved here, and then I haven't been back since. I suspect the Katz's sandwich is a lot bigger because I remember eating like a whole half of that thing, and I'm like, I can't even touch the other half. Here, you can push and eat the entire sandwich, and this is not cheap. I think this runs you like $28, and like when you get to these like higher prices for sandwiches. Some of the great things about like really good big sandwiches, like it's like, oh yeah, like it's like in your brain, just cut that cost in half because you can have for 2 meals. The Katz's sandwich is quite expensive. I think it's like up to 35. This is like 28, and then you're walking out the door with tip and cash. Tip and tax are about the same. But I feel this is like definitely has to be smaller. You guys post a comment below about that one if you know better. The other thing is that ambiance. Like I've been to Katz multiple times, but if you haven't, like, you literally should just pay $5 at the door just for like the decor and the history and all that like cool stuff about it. Second Ave Deli just looks like a New York diner. It has nothing cool about it. So that's literally like $5 on there. So you're 28, you're $33. And then the cool thing about the Katz is you're paying for ambiance. You're paying for the slicer right in front of you to cut it, make it right in front of you, and they give you a piece of like a nice piece of brisket. Pastrami. That's got to be worth $3 right there. So let's say like ambiance. Let's call it 250. The slice of pastrami 250. You're just $5 right there down, and they don't give you a sample of anything. They give you like a little bit of this kind of like vinegar coleslaw thing, which is actually not bad, but like obviously not as good as like a big sample of brisket. So yeah, yeah. Again, I went to this place because like I've never been. It's considered arguably like the second best, but like it's like a whole tier different. It's almost like a different food because they deli slice it so thin. It's just a different kind of meal. It's very good. Obviously, if you're not willing to travel all the way to the Lower East Side, but if you're willing to take a 20-minute walk like I did from Metropolitan Museum Art, it's hard to get a better meal. There's not too much food out there. So, JG Melon's also out there. That's another whole to do. So, very good stuff. Objectively, so like when I do beer reviews, I don't generally don't really calculate price and like availability and rarity and all that stuff into it. It's just like how good's the liquid. This is a very good food. Like I don't think I could find there aren't many better sandwiches like I find in Orlando, right? Like it's a very good sandwich even in New York standards. But you tack on the price and then the other quality of brisket pastrami out there from Katz's, which I guess is only one better. Let's give it like a. I'm sitting somewhere between like an A- and an A. Let's go B. A- and B+. Let's go with the 90 then. Let's go with the 90 on that. But a Katz is like a next level. That's like an A+. Boom. That's a huge difference in my mind. But that's what you get when you pay for like the Katz experience and a different food experience too. So, let me know what you think. Second Ave Deli. If you have any better recommendations, let me know. Cheers there.